Hola a todos, bienvenidos de nuevo a mi canal. Yo soy Nieves y en este vídeo os traigo algo un poco diferente. Os traigo un vídeo con mi novio. Este es Luke, para los que no los conozcáis, el resto seguro que lo habéis visto como en blogs y cosas así, pero creo que nunca como que he hecho como una introducción oficial y formal. Él es americano, es de Ohio, ahora mismo estamos en Ohio porque es la Semana de Acción de Gracias y de alguna forma le he convencido para que haga un vídeo conmigo. Alguna vez me lo habéis pedido en plan, haz un vídeo con tu novio, tal. O sea, tampoco voy a hacer un vídeo de cómo nos conocimos ni de nuestra historia, entonces algo que se alinea un poco como con lo que yo comparto en el canal y tal, es como cuáles son las diferencias culturales más grandes que hemos tenido, tanto él por yo ser española como yo por él ser americano. Y cada uno vamos a decir 4, ninguno del otro, ni Luke sabe lo que yo voy a decir, ni yo sé lo que Luke va a decir, así que no sé si en algunas coincidiremos o no. Entonces nada, se me ocurrió hacer este vídeo, hablé con mi editora y me ha dicho que me puede poner los subtítulos abajo, así que no os preocupéis, hablaremos en inglés, pero me pondrá subtítulos debajo, así que podréis entender todo lo que decimos, y si no, creo que YouTube también os puede traducir, en plan, si lo ponéis, os traduce todo lo que decimos al idioma que queráis. Pero nada, voy a daros un poquito de contexto. Nosotros llevamos 2 años y medio, 2.5 years. Desde que nos conocemos fue como en verano de 2023, cuando yo estuve haciendo prácticas en California, y nada, pues desde entonces hemos tenido una relación a distancia, long distance, porque él estudiaba la carrera en Ohio State University, y yo estudiaba la carrera en Massachusetts. Entonces ahí durante un año estuvimos viéndonos como cada every 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, cada 2-3 semanas, y después yo me mudé a California y él se mudó a Washington, el estado de Washington, en Seattle. Así que si veis que voy mucho a Seattle, todas esas cosas es porque él vive ahí, pero su familia es de Ohio. Así que nada, ahora estamos aquí y vamos a empezar con el vídeo. Que nada, que espero que os guste y os encontréis todas las cosas muy interesantes y todo. Así que vamos a empezar. Yeah, okay, so number one thing for me that I found was hard in the beginning, I think, was like the language barrier, which I think is pretty obvious. Having a boyfriend from like a different country, right, who doesn't speak your first language, mostly when you're like starting to get to know each other, it's harder because like, you know, my English is good, but it gets better the more I know the person. Like if I don't really know the person, it's very hard in the beginning. So I guess for me in the beginning, it was like being scared of not being able to be myself fully. Like even today when I meet people, like in the beginning, I'm not fully myself because of the language. And then sometimes like it's not even just with me. Like for example, say that we're like visiting my family. Like of course there's a language barrier in the sense that I have to like translate everything he's saying. I have to, yeah, we just have to like translate each other all the time.
That's gotten way better.
I mean, it's gotten better, but like I guess that's like number one thing. It's like hard. Like first of all, like I think me being able to communicate with you like has gotten to a point where it's fine. But like of course in the beginning that was harder. Or like even if I'm meeting his friends or something, like it's new people and I'm not like super comfortable with them, or like friends or family or whatever, I'm not super comfortable. It's very hard for me to feel like I'm being myself because I am like a totally different person in Spanish.
Yeah.
I mean, not with him now, but
Probably
like,
worth pointing out the obvious that our relationship is all English.
I mean, of course, we speak in English for everything. We don't do any Spanish.
Yeah. Soon.
No. He's doing Duolingo.
Okay, my number one is that Spanish culture is incredibly physical.
Yeah.
Like you feel it in the day-to-day interactions. It's just like very touchy, not just with me, with friends, with family. Like when I'm around her friends or her family, it's just like a lot more physically interactive, which it took me a while to get used to. Yeah, I think it feels natural now, but like just like going and visiting Spain, everyone's so affectionate and
That's
touchy and like familial with everybody. But I hadn't really experienced that before.
That's true. I'm very touchy, and also me myself, like me with my sisters or like my friends, we're super touchy. And so for him, that's weird because people here are like they're more cold with each other. Like you just yeah, but you don't touch each other as much as we touch each other.
You're very like physically affectionate with everybody.
My next one. I've never had a boyfriend in Spain, okay? So whatever, take that in mind. And maybe what I'm saying is not real to you guys who live in Spain, but to me, like I find American boyfriends in general, like of course Luke too, but in general way more gentlemen than like I do find any Spanish man I've met, whether it's my friend or something. Like
Nice.
Guys here are way more like gentlemen, like helpful, willing to help you, more handy. People my age, of course, like if you get to my dad's age, but like someone who's my age to be like that gentleman or like paying so much attention to like how you're doing, how you're feeling, like helping you all the time. It's like more old-fashioned, but in a good way. Like I like it. Like those are things I would like to keep in society, which is that the guy is helpful. Like of course the woman is helpful too, but the guy is way more helpful. So that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's good. I also think that has a lot to do with.
It's like in Spain we would say the word would be servicial. It's like you are like super nice, super easy, super whatever. Like it's just super easy. Like you're always paying attention to what I need. If I ask you like, can I have a glass of water or something, you're like bringing me the glass of water.
This has nothing to do with our relationship, but your approach to groceries and food at the store. Like your approach is like very fresh and like whole foods, and I can tell just by visiting her family in Spain, like her cart looks the same as her mom's in Spain versus like an American's cart is just full of like frozen foods and chips and cookies and bags and stuff, and you like bring that like kind of farmer's market, Spanish culture, fresh foods, breads.
That's true. I love my tomatoes. I love my fresh bread.
Yeah.
And I love my avocados.
You can like pick her out in a grocery store. You can tell she's not from here just by looking at what she has.
Yeah, because I never buy like, for example, I never buy cereals. I never buy like these cookies that they sell in like huge boxes, or like I never buy stuff like that here. Even though of course I would, but it's like in my head it's just, when am I gonna eat that? Like for me it doesn't. But here everybody's cart is just full of like super processed food.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's some people.
Like, of course, yeah, there's fresh.
But you can tell noticeably.
I also never buy frozen food or anything like that. I cook it myself. So, it's a good one. I think this is something I felt mostly in the beginning, but then I also feel like with like even talking to your friends or like seeing people around you, like I feel like American guys in general are not very used to like this is gonna sound terrible, but like women like more being like a bit more independent, or like that's something maybe like in Ohio or something, or like even your friends from work. I don't know how to say this, like I don't mean that women here are not independent, that's not what I mean whatsoever. What I mean is like I think I'm like super independent, like way too independent, because like I moved out of my house when I was 18 by myself. I live by myself since I lived by myself when I was 12 too, as you guys probably know. So for me, like, I think he was super surprised at how independent I was, like how much I could do things by myself, right? And then I meet, for example, my friend Elena, and she's the same way. And like the guy she's like meeting is like thinking the same thing, like, wow, she's so independent. She does things so much by herself. Like in America, they're not used to women having this sort of like independent as much. Or maybe like in some specific states, of course. Say from your perspective how you see it. But that's how I felt in the beginning of our relationship. And I've seen plenty of women like me who are American though.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think like, I mean, if you're a part of the group of like European people, Spanish people that made it over to the US, you're gonna be like a very independent, outgoing person versus like the people I would meet here that are American. You know, they're not like moving to different countries, so they don't have that feeling towards them. But I don't know. I think that's a true one. I think it makes sense.
I mean, that's how I felt in the beginning. Like, I remember you saying those things.
Yeah.
Like, well, I never met like someone who's like...
Well, I'm wondering if that's because you're Spanish or if that's just because of the person you are. Like
I guess it's also the person I am. But that's like, for example, how I feel like my Spanish friends are, or like how I feel my sisters are, who are also Spanish. You know, all of these people around me, I feel like are very similar in that way, versus people I've met in America are not that way as much, I guess.
Okay, this one's kind of funny. Like, Spanish people have a very, like, purposeful, like, when they're interacting over something that means a lot to them, they have, like, a very purposeful way of talking. Like, for example, I always call it the Spanish walk. When we're walking together, or, like, we're with her family, or she's with her friends, they'll, like, if you have something that's super important that they need to talk about, they will, like, pause. They won't keep walking. They will, like, pause and get, like, very direct on what they're talking about. Like they have to, they're very intense. They have to like get to the bottom of the conversation before they can move on. And I've never experienced that before. It's like we can just walk and talk and keep going.
Es como cuando yo voy con mis hermanas, I'm gonna explain it. Voy con mis hermanas y mi madre y como que entramos en un punto de conversación. Es como algo muy interesante o algo de lo que tenemos que pararnos y hablar. Pues a él le parece raro que nos paremos, hablemos, como que no sigamos, ¿sabéis? Como que nos tomemos ese tiempo para parar y hablarlo.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing about us being like American peoples are very fast paced and we don't get too caught up in the depth of things, but Spanish culture is like very like friendly and personable and and when you get into that kind of conversation, you want to just solely focus on that. You can't like focus on the world around you. It's like you get locked in, and it's because you're very like intense and personal in that way.
It's true. And just in general, we love talking. We have very like deep conversations. Like it's just like a very intense.
Yeah.
Ahora, así como una pequeña intromisión en este vídeo es que os voy a enseñar unas gafitas que me han llegado de la marca Tign, que os la dejo por aquí el nombre, también os dejo el link a la marca en la cajita de información. Pero nada, me han llegado estas gafas que me flipan, que ahora me las voy a poner cuando salgamos. Estas gafitas son muy chulas, esta es la funda, son buenísimas. Y las otras que, bueno, son mis favoritas, porque ya sabéis que he tenido una época en la que me encantaba correr, pero ahora que me he roto el pie, pues estoy que no puedo correr, evidentemente, y son estas gafas tan guays para correr. Son moradas, son súper chulas, me encanta, tengo muchísimas ganas de estrenarlas con un buen outfit. Y luego vienen con esta caja que es lo más, ¿vale? Y mirad qué guay, vienen con un montón de pegatinas de la marca, son chulísimas. Y aparte de eso, vienen con unos clips, estos dos clips, que básicamente los pones en la fundita en los dos extremos, así, y te la puedes colgar de la mochila, o si vas a esquiar o si vas a correr, llevas una mochilita pequeña, te lo puedes colgar. Y nada, también la marca tiene un montón de gafas de esquí, que ahora que empieza la temporada de esquí, pues súper guay. Y son chulísimas, en plan muy fashion. Así que nada, que os dejo todo en la cajita y que os dejo con el vídeo otra vez. Perdonad. Okay, something I've noticed in general about relationships here, but then this is something I used to believe. I guess I don't believe it as much anymore, but I do feel like relationships in the US are way more fast-paced than they are in Spain. Like whether it is because people have more money or this is how they were raised, but like in the US, people usually like jump into like living together or like getting married or like moving in together and all that stuff way earlier than we do in Spain. I don't know if it's because in Spain people don't have money to do it earlier, both either moving in together or getting married. But like here, like people my age are getting engaged like that, like crazy, which to me is crazy. Like in Spain, none of my friends are engaged. Like most of my friends don't even have boyfriends. So like, it's crazy to me how fast it is. I guess it's also like religion maybe and stuff, but to me, like relationships here are way more fast-paced than they are in Spain, and so that's why I tell him like, take it slow, you know.
I think religion maybe cost as well. Like it's harder to move out in Spain, maybe like live on your own, live with somebody else.
It's more expensive.
Yeah, it's more expensive.
I mean, it's expensive here, but like people have good jobs that can pay for it.
Yeah, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I think I agree.
But you know, like none of my sisters like have a partner or anything. Like Luca's always had a girlfriend. How would you call it? Like people have more relationships. They're more in relationships. I guess it's because people live further away from each other, so they see each other less. The way in which you can always be with someone is if you have a relationship too, maybe like because of what we were saying, that Spanish relationships are way warmer. So like you are always with people at all times. You live super close to other people.
Yeah.
Versus in the US, you live so far away from everybody that like having a partner is a way of like always having someone there for you.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, we're going into Luke's last one.
Yeah, I didn't know how to put this one.
I just saw it.
But like the cultural difference of being very, very straightforward and direct. And this is like in our relationship or work or like we're walking around and...
But that's me.
Yeah. I think this may be cultural as well. Like Spanish people don't really like to beat around the bush. Like they're just going to kind of tell you how it is. They're not going to like say like, oh, I'm sorry, you need to change that or you don't look good. They're just going to like tell you straight up like you need to change. Like they're not going to like be like, oh, you should maybe do this
like
instead.
In the US, people are so fake sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to say like, oh, you look so good, you shouldn't. But she'll just be like, no, you need to change that. Like something like, it's just very direct. They're not going to... Our term for that is like beat around the bush. Is that in Spanish as well?
Yeah, it's like que no vas a intentar como escabullirte, vas a decir las cosas como son.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I think that's an interesting one. It even shows with like, in public, like if someone cuts you in line, like for me, I'm going to be like, hey, excuse me, like I think you might have accidentally cut us. But she's going to be like, hey, you cut us, like get behind us. Like she's not, there's no like kind of polite.
It's true.
It's not like politeness. Like you guys are very polite. She's very polite. It's more just like, yeah, they're not afraid. They just get to the point.
Like even with my friends, I would just say things how they are.
Yeah.
That's also sort of my personality, I guess.
Yeah. Is that not a Spanish thing?
I guess it is. Like more than like in the US, people are just like, oh my God, you look so good. You're beautiful. Like this is so great. You know, in Spain, we're not like that. Like if you like it, you like it. You will express it. You will say it. But you're not just gonna be fake. You know, like
yeah, it's like getting around the
oh my
fakeness.
God.
I guess is
Yeah.
a good point. But yeah, it also like
impacts the relationship, of course, because there's no fakeness in the relationship. Everything is just like how it is.
yeah, I completely agree. You're just open, honest, right to the point. No need to bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, those are all of our points.
I would highly recommend it. It's fun.
Yeah. Bueno, esos han sido todos nuestros puntos. Hemos dicho eso, 4 cada uno. Yo creo que son bastante interesantes. Son cosas que igual no sabíais. En plan, pues si salís con extranjero o si salís con cualquier persona que es pues tanto americano como lo que sea y vosotros sois españoles o al revés, dejadme en comentarios cuáles son las cosas que os pasan a vosotros, qué cosas notáis que son como muy diferentes y en las cosas que se chocan, en plan, no a malas, pero que chocáis un poco porque es como, wow, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Sabéis? Espero que os haya gustado un montón este vídeo, que no os olvidéis de suscribiros a mi canal, estoy intentando subir, llegar a más gente, que le guste a más gente, seguidme en mi Instagram. Nos vemos en el próximo vídeo. ¡Chao, chao!